So welcome everyone to this session. We have Megha Sinha, who is a PhD candidate at Oregon State University, who will be presenting using a general prior knowledge graph to improve data-driven causal network learning. Just a quick note to attendees to please post your questions in the Q&A box rather than the chat. And Megha, a reminder to start your timer. Off to you.
Okay. Hi, I'm Megha. I'm a PhD candidate at OSU, and I'm happy to talk about my research on causal inference today. And thanks for coming. So, a study on autism in children and consumption of organic food in the US shows remarkable similarities between the two trends. It almost appears as if the occurrence of the two events are related to each other, although through common sense we know that neither is the cause of the other. Such statements like drinking beer every day increase chance of prostate cancer are common in news and scientific reporting or our day-to-day personal beliefs and can be mistaken as causation, making us susceptible to logical fallacies without knowing the real underlying reason. Such naturally occurring trends are just passive observation of our world and can be coincidental or unexplained association. Causal learning is a science of learning cause from effect. It is an important field of research since it helps us eradicate such spurious correlations. Is a causal graph. A causal graph is a directed acyclic graph where an edge between two of the nodes represent that one is a parent who is the cause of the child. So interventions here, like generally what we mean by interventions are they are external manipulation of one or more variables in our system where the state of the target variable is changed. And an intervention at a node, let's say Vi in this diagram, changes the distribution of all its causes while making it independent of its parent. So, according to a standard Bayesian approach, a causal graph can be represented by VE, and it can be learned from this formula where PG represents the prior distribution of the over the space of all the DAGs, and PD given G is the marginal likelihood of the data. So, most of you must be familiar with this equation. So in contrast to the substantial amount of work done on a large variety of marginal likelihood and scoring methods, less attention has been given to prior, which is PG. So this leads us to our motivation for this work, where we use KG, which is a knowledge graph, to improve causal graph learning. So the idea is most causal relationships are naturally occurring and invariant to external conditions. For most domains, some kind of prior knowledge is always known to the expert. For example, in the medical field, there is always some partial idea or knowledge available to the doctors about the origin and the connection of the underlying diseases or the conditions. Such priors are usually obtained via extensive literature survey and text mining of past medical records. However, in spite of this large scale availability of medical records around the world, most of this data is in raw, like in various standards and formats from different heterogeneous sources, which is very difficult to integrate into a single structure. This lack of consistent structure made it difficult to integrate this data together for us to access them. This led to recent development of solving this problem by building large knowledge graphs to organize this complex big data. This network accommodates structural informations which can be leveraged for reasoning, recommendation, decision making, etc. So this figure contains some well-known connection of occurrence of lungs diseases and corresponding subgraph that has been extracted from a biomedical knowledge graph, which has similar links, and we can use this to guide towards like a better structure learning. So with this, we propose our method KG2 causal for extracting expert knowledge in the form of pairs of variables such that there exists an edge between them in the knowledge graph. Um, so the knowledge graph which we are using for this particular study is RTX KG1. It's a biomedical knowledge graph comprising of 130K nodes, and it has 3.5 million relationships that is built by integrating concepts and concept predicate concept triples from 17 different knowledge providers like CORD, disease ontology, NCBI, Pathway Commons, etc. We host KG1 in a Neo4j database and use the Cypher query language to search for concept mapping between ground truth network variable and concept nodes in the KG1 knowledge graph. So our workflow of the method goes like this. Let there be a single dataset D with V number of variables or features. We start by initializing 100 random DAGs. Next, like 100, n equal to 100 is adequate for medium to large scale dataset, but we can change this number also. Next, we for each of these DAG, we use Taboo search to find a optimized DAG. We use Taboo because it is robust and efficient, and it has a history-dependent memory to avoid cycling. In this optimizing step, we also pass prior knowledge as edge probabilities to influence the structured learning. Now from this we get 100 optimized networks, and we use them by measuring the probability of strength and direction of each of this edge as its empirical frequency of occurrence among the DAGs. Finally, we learn the final causal network output by selecting a predefined threshold. We took 85% over the edge probability list. We analyzed our approach on following 5 real-world dataset and 2 synthetic dataset. So the real-world dataset comprises of liver complication, cell signaling networks, hematopoietic stem cell differential, gonadal sex determination, and cell cycling regulation of yeast as shown here. All these dataset consist of gene expression levels and we have the ground truth network available for measurement also. Apart from this, we also use two medical synthetic networks, Cancer and Asia, where we perform intervention because we want to show its applicability on multi-experimental datasets also. So this is just an example of one of this network. This is the cell signaling network, which comes from the Karen Sanchez and co-authors groundbreaking paper from 2015, where they inferred a signaling pathway and interaction in human CD4 plus T cells. So the interventions are shown in green, and the activators are like interventions are activators which are in green or inhibitors which are in red. So they carried out 9 experiments, including 2 observation and 7 intervention. And they use this experimental combination of observation and experimental data to find a Bayesian network, and they found 11 true positives out of 20 expected and found 3 false negatives. So our knowledge graph derived from KG1 having these 11 protein and phospholipids looks like this. We consider the relationships which are regulates or physically interacts with as causal effects by putting an independent prior probability of 0.5 on each of the arc and the direction. So this is how the sub knowledge graph which we extracted looks like, which has all these 11 nodes of this network. For performance analysis, we used three uninformative priors. They were uniform marginal Bayesian variable selection prior to compare our results. So here each row represents a different network inference application where the methods were tested. Each rows were also ordered by increasing network size. Each column represents a different type of measurement of performance for accuracy of reconstruction and of the network. And so the blue lines here are using KG as prior, which performs a superior on all the data which are in the rows over all the structural learning metrics. So these are some further analysis. Each rows here corresponding to specific data set, and each of these row have been further split into AURAC and AUPER. And this is also arranged in ascending order of network size. Uh, so as we can see, the highlighted are the one where we have used uh, the last row where we've used KG as prior, and it has a better performance with respect to AUROC and AUPR over all the 5 real-world data. The second table is where the data is collected from a mix of observation and intervention experiments. Each column again are split into two, one where containing results where all the data is pooled across the experiments, and the other where each of the experiments have been treated separately. So here also we see that for small size network, pooling is better than treating the experiment separately, as we have seen before. Limitation of this study is that due to lack of availability of large ground truth causal networks, all the data set which we have analyzed in this work are for small to medium sized networks. Due to the scalability issue of score-based method, this method would be challenging to apply in larger networks. We plan to explore and to incorporate a network structure prior over constraint-based learning algorithms like PC algorithm, which is another way to discover causal network from data. And it is more favorable and in terms of scalability compared to score-based method. We also want to evaluate alternate methods for incorporating prior and compare them. I have also provided a resource to find the code and the data for this KG2 causal work. If you are interested, you can go and check out my GitHub. And thank you. And if you have any questions, please ask.
Great. Thank you for the talk, Ninga. So yes, we will now transition to the Q&A portion. So attendees, please direct your questions to the Q&A tab. And Minga, I see that we have one question open already from Laurel Hopkins.
When randomly initialized, do you use a different number of edges? Yeah, so it can be fully connected or partially connected. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how many number of edges. So as long as we have all the nodes, it doesn't matter.
I have an additional question as well, while attendees may also be typing things out. What are the future developments or applications for using KG as a prior that you're most excited about?
Future application would be just like in terms of finding a causal network, we could like we can improve this method further to find a better causal network. So as I was saying, that scalability is an issue right now for us. We cannot like it takes a lot of time if the number of nodes is more than 100, which is less because we want to deal with like thousands and millions of nodes. So that is one issue where we get stuck. So in terms of scalability, we can improve this method.
Thank you for sharing that. It seems like we're still waiting on a couple more questions from attendees potentially. Another question I have for you is, what would you advise people to check out, like any resources if they were interested in learning more about knowledge graphs and more of the techniques that you talked about, some of the tools and technologies that you use?
Yeah, so as I shared, think, yeah, I shared my GitHub link, so you can find dataset. I will like I have a documentation also there. So most of this like I can list you some number of papers which you can go through. But I would say start with um, Pearl's causal network, like the two books which he has. So you can start reading from there. If you want to go in further details, then I would say like I can link you some further papers, but I don't know. I don't think there are like any resources where you can find a if you want to just learn about what is causal inference, then you can go through his books. But other than that, I can give you some links to papers.
Thank you. And who was sorry, I think I missed the author that you mentioned.
Julia Per.
Okay, perfect. Thank
So
you.
he has two books, like the one which is Book of Why. You can just go through it. It doesn't have too much technical details into it. But if you go through that, then you can maybe move to his first book, which is Causality.
Right. I just read that book in my master's program book club. So I'm looking forward to moving on to the textbook now. A little more of the details, a little less murder mystery aspect of it. All right. Well, seems like that is all of our time for this session today. Thank you for your wonderful talk, Miga.